This is the Mickey Miles and More podcast, your one stop for information on Disney races, Disney vacations, Disney theme parks, and more. Now, here are your hosts for the Mickey Miles and More podcast, Michelle Scribner-McLean, Chris Eliopoulos, and Mike Scopa.
Welcome back, Milers. I am your host, Chris Eliopoulos. Along with me is also our good friend, Dr. Michelle Scribner-McLean. Hello, Michelle.
Hello. How are you today?
Good. Do you have any shout-outs for our new listeners, viewers?
I do. This is a pretty easy one, but as we ramp up and get close to the opening of Walt Disney World, I am giving a shout out to all the cast members. I know several of them who have not been unfurloughed or not reinstated yet, and I know a lot of others who are getting ready for this ramping up. So we appreciate you, cast members of Walt Disney World.
Yes, sir. Also with us is Mr. Michael Scopa. Hi, Mike. How's everything going? Let's hear the quote.
Well, the last quote I gave on the previous show was guess, so I had to choose between easy or hard, and so I decided to go with difficult for this one. So here we go. 324, 330. Follow me.
Oh. Extinct or still going?
Still going.
Still going.
Sounds like a restaurant.
Len is Googling.
You're going into a restaurant.
Google is your friend, except here.
Yeah.
324, 330. Follow me. Of course, if I did it in a certain voice, you'd guess it right away.
Star Tours?
Yes.
I should have gotten that one. Oish.
I think that line is still in it.
The person who got it right is our good friend, Len Testa from touringplans.com and Disney Dish. How's it going, Leonard?
Good. How's it going, Chris?
Good. So we brought you back one last time. This time we're going to talk about your trip to Disney Springs and what your thoughts are on the future of the Disney parks, especially in light of just recently learning that the numbers are really starting to skyrocket in Florida. And even in Orange County, they just put back in a masks on at all times edict. So first of all, thanks for coming back. And second of all, what time of the day did you go to Disney Springs?
So I went for the early bird dinner special at Morimoto at 4:30 in the afternoon, 5 o'clock. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if people were storming in the morning and not in the afternoon, or do they come in like how crowded was it?
It was. It was not crowded at all. I would say it was maybe 25% of what you would expect.
What day of the week?
So this was Wednesday evening.
Okay.
So there were many hundreds of parking spaces available in the orange parking lot. I want to say many hundreds. I mean like 500 per level or 700 per level, not 100. The good thing was, so they do the same thing that they did at Universal. In the parking garage, before you even get into Springs, you do a temperature check. That's all super speedy. And there are security guards there as well. So you go through the normal security screening. And then you're in Disney Springs. But 100% mask compliance I saw there as well. I actually went through both garages. We parked in the orange garage. Then I walked through the lime garage just to see if it was consistent. And it was. And that was fine. And then when you're walking around Disney Springs, it was just like another relatively uncrowded time at Disney Springs. Have you guys seen the videos where there are stormtroopers now on the second floor?
Yeah.
Sort of doing running commentary. That was a lot of fun. And people seem really to enjoy that. I noticed that in all of the stores, they were doing social distancing two ways. In some stores, they just had a sign out front that said, there are 4 people allowed in this store, 6 people in this store. If you see more than 4 or 6 people, don't come in, right? In other cases, there was a dedicated employee outside who knew the count of the people inside, and they were pausing you and socially distancing you that way. So they had that really well organized too.
Were you as excited to go to Disney Springs as you were to go to a theme park?
I was actually. I love Universal. There's nothing wrong with Universal. I like Disney World better. That's just me. It's the first theme park I ever went to. Disney is a special place in my heart. It was great to see all the familiar things, like to see, Boathouse, to see Raglan Road, and to hear the music at Raglan Road and stuff. That was all really, really good. And it's getting me excited for my hotel trips starting next week too. So,
Wow. Come on, Mike, bring it on. Now, you've been quiet. Let's hear some.
Well, I was thinking. So, Len, did you notice with the restaurants, were there consistent practices regarding social distancing? Were there some restaurants doing something, over and beyond what you would expect? I mean, what did you observe?
the places where you could do outdoor dining, like at Raglan Road or at Cooks of Dublin or STK, had lots and lots of outdoor seating. In fact, not for nothing, but the upstairs patio at STK kind of looked great yesterday. It wasn't particularly humid. The sun, wasn't particularly hot. That looked like the place to be. And you guys know my criticisms of STK. But that looked really good. I think any place that had outdoor seating was making ample use of it. And you could tell that the tables were a little bit more farther apart than they might be normally. But it was super consistent. The other thing I saw too, even when there were a lot of people even when they were sitting at tables, if they didn't have food directly in front of them, they still had their masks on. And that was nice to see.
Did you walk by the Lego store?
I did walk by the Lego store, but I didn't go in. So I don't know what was happening.
That huge pile of Legos that everybody was, would touch.
I don't think so. I did go in World of Disney though, and it wasn't very crowded. And there were cast members everywhere, making sure that you had maintained social distance. And there were so few people in there that it would have actually been difficult to crowd someone. Like you'd have to be trying to get close to someone.
Yeah, so that was one of my questions. If you pick up a keychain, and you look at a keychain that said Len went to Walt Disney World, and you put it back, and then Mike picks it up because he wants to buy it for you, and you,
right?
Are they wiping things off all the time?
I don't think they are, and that's different, I think, than what we saw in Shanghai. I think in Shanghai, the policy is you touch it, you buy it.
Huh.
And that's not the policy here. So so I don't know how they're going to handle things like, it's a good point. I don't know how they're handling things like trying on clothes.
Yeah,
like if you go into Lilly Pulitzer and you try on clothes, dressing rooms are closed. Oh, thank you, Laurel. Dressing rooms are closed.
I thought that was your conscience.
Yeah, exactly.
Jiminy Cricket back there.
Jiminy Cricket. Yeah, so dressing rooms are closed. There you go. There's that. I don't know how that would work but like for regular shirts though, in World of Disney and things like that. So
yeah,
that's crazy. Wow.
And then we had dinner at Morimoto last night, and it was really, really good.
Wow.
Len, has Disney Springs? I know I recently saw some new
she's
scanning,
out.
some new scanning a technology that may be used when the Magic Kingdom and Disney Hollywood Studios opens on July 11th. Were they employing this at Disney Springs?
They were not the day that I was there, but I had someone who told me more about it. And so what it looks like essentially is like an infrared scan of a wide swath of people as they're coming through. So imagine you had a television screen that showed 10 yards worth of people walking in a group towards you. It not only looks at temperature, but it looks for dense metal objects as well. And if it sees somebody with an elevated temperature or with pieces of metal that look like they need investigation, security will approach those people and pull them aside for further checks. And that looked seamless to me. The video that I saw of it working.
They said something like 3,500 people an hour or something.
Yeah, per entry thing.
Yeah,
per side.
Wow.
So that's a lot of people. If they could get 5 of those running, or 4 of those, that's 12,000 people an hour. That's a lot. It looked like it worked really, really well. So I'm excited to see how that works in the parks. I think it'll probably be back over the weekend.
Did you see the increased security or any of the social distancing squad? There?
I did. I saw them walking around,
Okay.
and in fact, there was exactly one instance of somebody not wearing a mask and the social distancing squad came up to them and said, essentially, you've got to wear a mask. And so we heard that. And
they have pom-poms and say, yay!
No, they were pretty matter of fact about it, actually. Okay. It was very direct.
Okay.
So it turned out that the person who was doing it wanted to take a selfie, and they didn't want the mask on the selfie. And so once that was understood, they let them take the one selfie, but then it was like, okay, your mask is on. But as soon as that person had that mask off, someone was there like, no, you got to put it back on. So they recognized it, and they took care of the situation appropriately. It was handled really, really well.
You felt like the whole situation, they're starting to get it. It didn't reach capacity, right? I mean,
Springs? No, not even close. No.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if parks are going to be the same way, where it's going to be. I mean, considering now, like we're talking about, like numbers are really going up in Florida, especially down in the Orlando area. Do you think Disney's going to still open up on time?
That's my big concern, is that, we're above 3,000 new cases a day on average. The 7-day average is that do we ever reach a point again where large swaths of business, not just Disney, but do we reach a point? What's the point where we all decide, okay, the second shutdown needs to happen? Yeah. And I don't know as a country if we're ready for that.
Ready for what, to shut down or to
shut down again? Yeah, I think if there's about half this country that would not shut down under almost any circumstance at this point.
Right.
And so I don't know that we have the will collectively to endure a second shutdown. I don't think that would happen. But Disney is playing it way more conservative than that. The phrase that I hate to use is abundance of caution, but they are being as cautious as they possibly could be. So there's a non-zero chance that they could decide, what, we can't do this right now.
Yeah, I think that there are so many different people or factions that could make that decision. I think the fact that the Orange County executive order to make it mandatory to wear masks, I don't think that's a good sign for Disney. I think it's going to be, it's step one, Len. I think that you're going to have the county, or maybe the Walt Disney World executives themselves, or maybe the mayor of Orlando saying, sorry, but we're going to have to shut down. I don't anticipate the governor saying that, but I think those three groups, one of those three could very well shut down. And I agree with you, Len. I think if it's shut down, I think it would be pretty bad, because I think it would set off a domino effect on other things that probably have not been addressed yet. Things like food and wine. We've talked about this. We don't know if that's going to happen. Not So Scary, which is supposed to begin in August. There's a whole.
I'm told we're going to get announcements on hard ticket events literally any minute now. I thought it was going to be today, frankly. So if we don't hear this by Friday the 19th, I'll be surprised. No, but you're right. I don't think the governor. It would take an extraordinary measure at this point for the governor of Florida to shut down the theme parks. I think that would be his last option. He personally would think that would be his last option. So yeah, again, it's a non-zero chance, but that's my concern, right? That at some point Disney looks at this and says, you know what, we don't feel good about this.
So next week you're going to several hotels, and your goal is
currently 4 DVC reservations starting the 22nd.
For how many days? It was 1 or 2 days each, right?
Going through the July 12th. So
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so your goal is just to sort of report back on the operations and see how they're doing everything and what the protocols are.
It's to get out of the house. Number one.
Love the honesty.
Sweet Jesus. And then it's to see how they're doing. And
to see some NBA stars, right?
Right. Yeah. I actually have something booked at Grand Floridian. I'm excited to see what happens there. I made my ADR reservations today as well, and that for next week, and that was interesting because I start off at Bay Lake Tower, and I wanted to make a dining reservation for Kona next Monday or Tuesday. I forget what day it was. And so the talking to the Disney cast member, and he's giving me the whole spiel about I should allow 2 hours for transportation to go through Disney Springs because there's no direct resort to resort transportation. I'm like, it's been a while, but isn't there a monorail that goes between these two resorts? And there was this pause. And he's like, there's a monorail. We can't guarantee it's going to be running. I'm like, dude, I will Uber or walk.
Yeah,
The chances of me going through Disney Springs to get to the Polynesian are zero. I think my actual question to him was, am I swimming? Like, am I?
But you can park in the parking
I can
lot,
drive.
right? Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Or just Uber.
So, and so it's funny because he's like, we're not sure yet whether the monorail is going to be running. And I was like, dude, there's a lot of stuff we're all going to find out together on June 22nd.
Yeah, it seems like, right? It's like the cast members know as little as we do.
Yeah. I was like, we're going to figure this all out together and it's going to be fine. So
Bay Lake, and then what's that after that?
So Bay Lake, then I'm at the Poly, then I'm at Wilderness Copper Creek Wilderness Lodge, then I'm in a cabin, and then I'm back at the Poly. So, wow. Sorry, my rice is ready in the background.
Oh, is it dinner time already?
Dinner time, exactly.
So changing, well, from the safety standpoint, right? So
Yep.
Let me ask you, I know, you probably look at the numbers as well. We've talked about this before. My wife and I were scheduled to go down in August, and I started to look at what we were not getting for the same price.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering at what point, like Disney didn't announce that we were going to get lower prices for it because we're giving you less than before. Not that they would ever do that. It's Disney after all. But like, I'm not getting fireworks. I'm not getting parades. I don't know what what I can ride, what I can't. Like, it seems like you're getting less for the dollar than you were before. At what point do you, as a consumer, say, this isn't worth it to me, I'm just going to postpone? Forget the health stuff.
And this, I think, is going to be one of the big differences for me between Universal and Disney. At Universal, I was never there for the parade or the fireworks. Those were, like, if you told me out of every $100 that I spend for admission, how much would I allocate to the value of parades and fireworks at Universal? It'd be pretty close to zero. Right? It just doesn't interest me. But if you asked me out of the $120 or whatever that you would pay for admission to the Magic Kingdom, how much would you allocate for Happily Ever After and the parade? That's going to be a non-zero number for me. That's going to be like, I would pay probably $20 to see Happily Ever After just by itself, right? That's an important component for me. Character greetings, like if you told me, I'm not huge on character greetings. I like to do one or two a day, especially if the lines are really low. But again, for me, that number is the value that I would put on that is not zero.
Well, for families, it'd be great. I mean, little kids, they will wait on long lines.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's going to be the big question for me. The big question that I want to look at, not only for the theme parks, but for the hotels, right? Because, I mean, Disney charges a premium for its hotels.
Yeah.
Is that worth it? And I'm not going to know that for 2 more weeks, but that's literally the number one question.
So, for some reason, I'm not sure. I thought I heard this where, like, you were just talking about going to restaurants. So can you make reservations at other restaurants and other hotels if you're staying?
Yeah.
You can.
You can.
You just have to get, you have to know how to get there.
You need a reservation at a hotel to make a reservation at another hotel.
Okay. But you can go there and you can say, like, I'm going to, and the same thing with bars and stuff like, but what, like, so my wife and I, the things we love to do sometimes is in the afternoon, we take a break, we'll go to Poly, we'll get a cheese board and a drink.
You can totally do that. Yeah, you can.
You can.
You can, yeah. So the bar, it looks like the bars are open on the list that I saw. So I think all the restaurants have one sit down place, the regular counter service places, and I believe one bar open.
So what do you have to do? Like show your ID or something like that to let them know that you're a hotel guest somewhere?
It'll be magic bands. So they'll probably scan magic bands. They haven't said how they're going to check it yet, but That's what I'm guessing. Magic bands.
And then you're going to find out, like, when you walk. So if I'm going, say I go to the restaurant, I have to check in again. I have to get my temperature checked while I go into the hotel as well.
I'm assuming there'll be temperature checks everywhere. Yeah.
And what about
takes
pools?
two-
I know
was my
Stormlong
next
Bay is
question.
closed. What about, do
That
you
was
know
pools,
what's going to happen with the pools?
No. So the only thing I've heard regarding the pools are, we all know Stormalong Bay is going to be closed because that's dedicated to the NBA. So the quiet pools will be open. And I think the reason why they're doing the quiet pools in all the resorts is because there's more of them and they'll be less crowded. So,
Okay.
but no, pools will be probably the second thing I check after the value stuff.
Yeah, that's where we were staying. We were staying at the yacht, and it was like, nope, you're not even getting the pool. So that was like another reason for us to say, why are we going to go?
Yeah, and that's an important question, right? Because I mean, to your point, Chris, everything's still full price.
Yeah,
yeah.
But that's the thing, like, so you think the stuff at Disney Springs will carry over well into the Disney parks?
I do. I think that the thing that's going to help is, no one's going to get kicked out of no one wants to get kicked out of a theme park after they paid $125 to get in. Like, they're not going to be that dumb. And if they are, thank you for contributing to the upkeep of the parks that I love. But no one's going to do that.
I know there's been a lot of people who argue about the masks. Obviously, we've seen them on TV and internet and stuff. Like, you see people who are dead set against it. Does any of your inside sources say, like, they would ban people from the parks if they refused to wear a mask, like, forever? Like, sometimes beach jumpers.
I do know what the policy and the procedures are, but I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
I'll talk about that.
And I do wonder, Party of 11 and Auntie Millie has a fever. Does that mean everybody can't go in? How's that going to be handled? I'm really curious about that. They probably have like a triage area, and then they refund everybody their money and send them off, and take their names for tomorrow.
I'm sure there's a refund policy in place, and I think it is I think the policy says if you or anyone in your party.
Right, but then they just go to another park, and after they've been exposed, how are they going to take that person's name or put it on their magic band?
Well, you've got a reservation for one park, and it'll be one park per day.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there is some sort of, that's a good question. Is there a tracking system that says this person tested? Because
if it's one person in that party, then, logically they will have exposed everybody else, right?
In the party, right. But then the larger question is, that's is that considered medical information? The fact that they had a high temperature, because there are HIPAA laws around all of that.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Again, there's a lot of stuff that we're all going to be figuring out.
And does that mean they can just come back tomorrow?
That's right. So if there's a system that tracks it, that says, okay, Len was here yesterday at 101 fever. If there's a system that tracks that should fall under HIPAA laws,
right, in
the United States. And there's a whole set of things around that in terms of like who can see it and sharing and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. But everything seems to be questionable, and yet we're full steam ahead next week to open up. Like, do you think?
Not next week.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Right. So we get the 22nd, we get the 29th, we get the 4th, and then it opens. So 3 weeks and change. Assuming there aren't previews, which there will be, but that's okay.
And you must have the inside information when those are going down.
I can't say yet. Not official. Yeah. We'll talk about it off the air.
That's funny. Oh, wow. Look at that. We get the special info afterwards. Sorry.
Chris, you should come down. Come down.
Let's
go to the parks.
Dude, I can't even go to here's the thing. So I was telling
Chris will have to be hermetically sealed to go down on the plane.
I go to my local supermarket. Now, New Jersey, I have to admit, so I live in the county that was the hardest hit in New Jersey. Like, outside of New York City, we were hit really hard. My son is EMT. The amount of stuff he saw, the way this virus attacks people, it's been horrible. He's lost crewmates from the EMT. It's bad. But I've gone only like a week ago to the local supermarket, and luckily they count people coming in. They tell you wear the mask. They have the arrows. like they announce like every 5 minutes, like here are the rules, follow the rules.
Yeah.
And so luckily I went in on Monday morning. It was 10 people max that were shopping there. Out of those 10 people, about 3 people were going up the wrong way up the aisles.
But this is the thing that kills me. Like,
but I'm thinking about the park at Grand.
How do you drive if you can't read the sign? Like,
I know.
What are you doing?
And then as I was walking out, an elderly gentleman who was having trouble walking, so you could tell he was already compromised, had no mask on. And so I say, okay, let's break this out at a grander scale like the Disney parks. And if 30% of people are not complying, what happens?
No way. It won't happen. It won't happen. You're not going to get 1% sustained non-compliance. It's not going to happen. They just won't let it.
Yeah, I'm sure Disney's going to be on it more than my cashier at the ShopRite, right?
Yeah.
I found a thing online because we only got about like 5 minutes left. I wanted to present to all 3 of you now. I found this thing online, and it's a discussion about risk level. I guess it's a 1 through 10 risk level of contamination. And a lot of these things apply to Disney World. And if you add them up, like it's almost like if you add these together, would you get like, I'm out of here, I'm not coming. So I'll start at the lower levels. So playing tennis is a risk level of 1, right? So you're not really going down to Disney to play tennis, right? But they have like at Yacht Club, they have tennis courts and stuff like that.
But people who are playing tennis also just hold their own tennis balls too.
Watch your language.
I said tennis balls.
I'm assuming it's like running though too. I mean, when you're running on a track, you're running. Okay, so
Right.
yeah, I do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we don't. It's hard to wear a mask and run. I've tried it. It doesn't work really well.
Okay. Getting takeout from a restaurant, which is something that you're going to be doing a lot at Disney, is a 1 as well, right? So I guess that's considered.
I was doing that in New York.
Right?
Yeah, no.
Getting fuel, that's another thing, right? So if you're driving there, but you're self-pumping, are they cleaning the pumps and stuff down there?
So here they give you either towels, like paper towels, or gloves.
Okay.
To wear. Yeah.
Going for a walk, run, or bike ride with others, risk level 2. So basically, Disney is all about walking, so it's not so bad.
So on these risk levels, does it say wearing a mask? Because I think it's a big difference in risk level wearing a mask and not when you're doing it.
I don't know. I would assume it sort of works. I don't know. I mean, this is just sort of like this is your risk level for going. I would assume this is with a mask, but. Well, I mean, libraries, museums is a 3. Again, you're not doing that at the park. Golfing, are they going to open up the golf courses down there?
Golf courses are open. They've never closed.
They never closed. Okay. Hotels are risk level 3. You're going to be discovering that one firsthand next week. Camping is a risk level 3. So are they going to be opening up the campgrounds?
Campgrounds are open. Hold on one second. Let me start my video again.
Now you know when you're like pausing.
I think the hotel rating would depend upon if you have a foyer, if you have elevators to deal with versus like in the moderates and the values where you go directly into your room.
Right. Outdoor hallways might be a bonus there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to go camping?
Let me think. I mean, I wouldn't go camping because it's 95 degrees outside.
You and Newell can go in that rental van thing that he got that time, right?
That was beautiful. I would totally do that again. Camping. Why would camping be?
I don't know.
You would think. I don't know. I would think camping would be
the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the shared comfort stations. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
I'm all about the bathrooms.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe that's it. Still. I mean, even under normal circumstances, Disney keeps a pretty clean bathroom at Fort Wilderness.
Yeah. Obviously, eating outside at a restaurant is a level 4.
Fine.
Yeah. We don't have to worry about dining in the office. Walking in a busy downtown, so it's basically what we're doing in the parks, is a risk level of 4.
Again, with a mask or without?
I'm going to say for the sake of us, because this is.
You live in New Jersey. I lived in Manhattan.
No, I'm saying, but if you're going to the Disney parks, these relate to the Disney parks. So if you're walking downtown, it's similar to walking through the park. So it's not that bad of a risk as long as you get the mask on.
Right, I'm with you. Okay.
Here's an interesting one. Now that Disney Springs is open, bowling. Is
I
it
didn't see
open?
if Splitsville was open. I don't think it was running. I didn't.
I thought I read
sorry.
that it was.
No, Splitsville was not open when I was there yesterday.
I was going to say, because they got to clean. Sorry, Michelle. They got to clean the balls in between using them.
Splitsville wasn't
I'm
open.
apologizing.
Haleo wasn't open. Pepe, the place next door to Haleo, wasn't open as well. So none of that was open.
Beach is a level 5. I guess that's similar to a pool, right?
Why?
Yeah,
I guess
how
just
is
'cause of the bathroom. I don't know why.
how is
Why
it
would-
downtown a 4 and a beach a 5?
Maybe it's outdoor. But they're all outdoor. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm going by this.
Where is
whatever
this
the-
list?
I don't know who made this list. Maybe Mike made this list.
Is this Cosmo's sex quiz in coronavirus? All right, go ahead.
You're saying it's not validated and reliable?
Well, it does say airplanes are risk level of 5, so you lasted through that.
I can see that.
Oh,
yeah.
here's another one for Disney Springs. Movie theaters, risk level 6 was the movie theater.
Movie theater's not open yet. Yeah.
I just got an email today that AMC is open again. I don't know if it's
That's
down
right.
there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Pontoon boat rides, risk level 6 to the boathouse out there.
Why would they add that?
Probably because of the spray. Probably because of the spray.
Why would out of all the things that you could do, why would that be on the list?
I'm just telling you what's on this list. I'm not confirming or denying what it is.
How is
Doing
I mean,
ballet
a
on
pontoon
top
boat
of a
with
mountain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is the pontoon boat with strangers? Is that because like I could go to the marina at the Poly? By the way, they're not running, so you can't rent it. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. So Bippity Boppity Boutique, hair salons and barbershops is level 6.
Oh.
not open.
That's
And
nice.
look at my hair. So
No. Playgrounds, are they going to open up? They're going to keep the children's playground areas shut down, right?
I think they'll shut them down. Yeah.
Clean the monkey bars after every kid jumps on the monkey bar.
Wait
Wait a minute, Jimmy.
If they give the kids little gloves in the that work
little
as hand sanitizers,
Like
yeah,
Mickey gloves.
exactly.
Yeah,
They'll be
right.
super
More fingers,
slippery,
yeah.
but whatever. I mean, the kids are clumsy anyway. They're gonna fall off.
The medic station every 5 minutes. This one says restaurants indoor seating is a risk level of 6.
Well, I think that's low.
It depends too on
How they space it
if
out.
if there was at least 10 feet of distance between us and any other diner at Morimoto, and probably more like 15. Maybe it's the servers walking around you, but even then, everybody had masks on. So
Right.
yeah.
All right. So what do we say? Public pools is a 7.
Yeah.
I mean, basketball, churches, amusement parks is a level 8. It says.
Okay.
It also says gyms are a level 8. So are the gyms going to be opening up in hotels and the like?
So they haven't said officially yet, but I think they will be because they're allowed under the state.
Yeah, they're open in the state. Pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Now that I said that though, I'm not entirely sure. The state allows it. I don't know that Disney will. Disney could decide again. It's just not worth the risk.
And here's something a lot of people like at the parks and the hotels is the buffets.
No, they've already said no to buffets.
Yeah, they're going to shut it all down, right? They're not going to. So what do you think
actually
it's those restaurants?
Family style.
Oh, they're going to bring
So if you think about beer garden, but family style, where it's all you can eat and family style,
Wow.
like I would pay more for that. Why didn't we do this before?
Yeah,
But you're with
that's awesome.
strangers.
No, you're not. You get your own table now. So you get your own
Oh.
table and it's all you can eat family style. Again,
That's
I would pay
awesome.
double for this.
Boy.
Oh. So maybe it's worth the price of the ticket at the parks.
Yeah, if you're going in for the food, yeah. So
Yeah. It's like Vegas, right? You go for the gambling and they give you like free food.
free food. Have you seen the deals in Vegas?
No.
So the Wynn, which is a really nice hotel in Vegas, is offering it's $109 a night rooms with $100 credit, like for food.
Every night?
So it's minimum 2 nights. So it's $50 a night. But basically, it's a $59 a night room at the Wynn, which is objectively a fantastic resort. I was there last year. Like $59 a night is less than I pay in a mortgage. I should be living at the Wynn. I should be like Howard Hughes, living in a hotel in Vegas.
Just collect your urine and your toenail clippings in the
Toenail clippings, exactly. There's the downside to that. So yeah.
But the final one is, of all things, it said the bars are 9. Is that because people? I know. Is it because people get stupid when they're in a bar, or that they don't have their masks on, or
I think it could be the proximity in bars,
maybe tight,
like you're shoulder to shoulder, and then you're drinking and stuff like that. Again, I think this is assuming no social distancing and no masks.
Yeah.
What does it say about like
more
sporting
data
events?
have to be collected about that?
Yeah.
Sporting events?
Yeah.
Sports stadiums, risk level 8.
Yeah, that's what I would. Again, assuming. Well, so with sports stadiums, we all know how close in you're packed, so that kind of makes sense.
And the bathrooms and it's just crazy.
Sitting in line for food and stuff like that. Yeah.
Beer and whatever. Yeah. So it's crazy. So, all right. So Len, parks open up in 3 weeks. We're going to wrap this up with one last question. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to see a lot of people show up, or I guarantee the first 2 weeks are going to be people like you, vloggers, bloggers, people who are Disney.
Oh yeah, day one it's going to be
That's all it's going to be.
Media. Yeah.
We're still going to start. We're going to see a really big upsurge in the beginning of families and people coming down.
I don't think at the beginning you will, and I think the thing that tells you that is the fact that only DVC resorts are open for the first couple of weeks. But I think there is a lot of demand for people who want to go on vacation, right? People need vacations.
Oh yes.
I think if Disney does this the right way, and I think they will, that we'll see people start coming back in the fall, assuming that things don't get much worse on the virus side, and assuming that things don't get much worse on the economy side either. That's my hope.
Yeah.
Will you come back and tell us what happens?
I will absolutely do it. So let's make a date for second week of July.
Great.
Nice. Look at this. We
Perfect.
got an ongoing guest, a regular guest here now.
Yeah,
We're moving
fantastic.
up in the world. All right. Well, thanks for your time, Len. I really
Let
appreciate
that man go eat his rice.
Go eat your rice. Have a laurel for us.
Gotta
on
go for a
behalf
run first.
Mr. Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Michelle Scruger McLean. I'm Chris Diapolis. We'll see you on the next show.